Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lead Her podcast. It is Monday morning as I record this. I am just back from the gym. I tried to do a podcast yesterday, but had a few too many coffees. And I don't know about you guys, but if I have more than one coffee, I'm almost like overstimulated and like I can't focus on one thing. So I recorded this like 4 times, and I was like, nah. I was all over the place. I was like, right, start again. I'll do it tomorrow morning. So it's still uploaded on a Monday. But today I wanted to chat to you guys about a little trip I just did with my friend, and also how like I really kind of discovered that I needed more me time and more moments of just being in my own head and my own thoughts and doing my own thing. And I think as we get older and you do have a family or you do have a long-term relationship, you become really reliant upon each other. And growing up, I was a bit of an odd kid where like I just loved being home. I hated sleepovers. Like I'd feel physically sick doing anything without my mum. I'd be like, I want to be home, and I just liked my own company. I didn't like being in different houses, and everything was always different, wasn't it? But I was also that kid where mum did work and she was a single mum, and then my brother was out with his friends, and I would be by myself, and I was very comfortable in my own company. And I didn't have a lot of friends because I was that kid that didn't really want to go and play with people. So I spent a lot of time by myself. And sometimes, like some of you guys might have kids, and you're worried about your children, and you're like, oh my god, like they don't like other people. Like, what is wrong with them? But like, I'm so sociable now. I am, but as a kid, I was not like that at all. So it was that way. I would feel sick leaving the house, but also I was just happy being by myself. And I've always been that way. Like even like when I kind of got a wee bit older, and if people didn't want to do stuff with me, I wouldn't just sit in the house and do nothing. I'd be like, right, okay, I'm going to go out for a coffee. And even when I went to uni, I would just go out and go for dinner myself and study myself and go for coffees. I never found it an uncomfortable thing, but I know a lot of people can feel uncomfortable when they go out for coffee or they go for dinner by themselves. It can seem quite strange and quite weird. And I wanted to kind of chat today about how we can kind of see the benefits of that and see the push to do stuff like that more, but also the importance of you having a wee bit of kind of time yourself as well. So yeah, I've always been that way. And then I kind of really noticed like me and Joe have been together like 10 years now. And I think it was probably after COVID, because even when you're a coach, when I coached back in gyms, you would maybe have some clients in the morning, you'd have a few hours gap, and then you would have some people come in the evening. So there was always this lunchtime where I would just be out in Glasgow doing my own thing, hanging out with people. Whereas like after like I worked in Glasgow, we moved to Braco, and I would work from home. And then from lockdown, I was working from home, training from home, walking the dog as well. So everything was with Joe. And people were like, oh my God, you both not get sick of each other? And then you spend so much time together. Like you actually train together, you walk the dog together, and you both work from home. Like that must be quite intense. But it's not, because like Joe's working just now, I'm working now. We've walked the dog, we've trained, but we won't really kind of speak or chat to each other until the end of the day, and we'll have lots to kind of fill each other on and what and how our kind of work day has went. But I do get that it is a lot of time with your kind of partner. And I noticed like after lockdown, when we went on our first trip, um, or not actually our first trip, but when I went on my first trip by myself, because I started doing like a yearly trip with my mum and little sister, which I think I've mentioned before on here. Like I just think like it's just great to have proper time with them and make time with them now. And I noticed that first trip with them, it was only to London, but booking it, I was like, oh my God, I needed to make sure I had the right day, the right times, the right return times, where the train station was, the hotel. I felt really responsible, but I'd had maybe a good 5, 6 years of just going on holiday with Joe. And he was the person, you always get that one person in the relationship, right? The person that does all the planning, and you just turn up with your suitcase. I'm the turn up with your suitcase gal. And I used to think it was quite funny. Like I'd just turn up and I'd be like, I don't even know what time our flight is. I'd find out the night before, and I'd just rock up and go away on holiday. And that's great and that's nice. And you do become very reliant on that. That actually with that first trip with my mum, I was like thinking, oh shit, like normally like I don't need to think about all these things. So it was really nice going away with my mum. It was only London. That was kind of the first step of me going, actually, I do need to do more stuff like this. I do need to go away more and spend more time with family and friends and not just with Joe. And even like again, coming back to that little inner child that would feel sick leaving home, I feel like that when I leave Joe and when I leave Lola. I feel like the night before I'm like, oh, can I just cancel? Can I not go? Because I don't want to leave them. But when I get away from them, I genuinely like feel so good, and like I love them both to bits. But like they'll message me, Joe will message me when I'm away, and it's almost like it's the same when he's away. I message him because he asks me questions and stuff, but I don't reply because I'm just so busy doing my thing, that I'm like, we'll catch up when we get back home. But that gap can be so good for like your relationship, but also for you and your confidence as well. So the next time I went away with my mum and stuff, we went to Budapest, and we were in different countries, so our flights were different times, and my mum was leaving like a day before, so I had a full day and night in Budapest by myself. And that was like, I was excited for it. I was like, oh, actually, that's nice, because I love going away with my mum and my little sister, but they don't walk a lot, so they don't want to walk as far as I would walk. I would walk for miles, and like you need to get buses or you need to take them into consideration. Some people want to go home, some people are hungry, and you're constantly compromising all the time. Even on a daily basis, you're compromising with your kids, with your colleagues at work, your partner. You're always compromising to find that happy middle. So having that day by myself, I was like, oh, I'm actually really looking forward to that. My mum was like, oh no, like I don't want you having a day by yourself. Are you going to be okay? And I was like, Mum, I'm going to be absolutely fine. Do not worry. And I knew St. Margaret Islands was quite far away from where we were staying. So I was like, I'm going to go there when they leave. I'm going straight there. I'm going to go and see the shoes along the river, and then keep walking to St. Margaret Islands and just wing it and go for food whenever I want to go for food. And I had the best time. And it was just so good not having anyone else talk to me, just like in your own head. You don't get that anymore. We're always constantly stimulated. And I want to give you some tips later today as well, in terms of like how you can do that without going on a holiday. But I'm just back from France because my best friend, who was also my bridesmaid, was back from Australia. And last summer she said she's going to do a little France trip. And I was like, okay, I want to come meet you. Let's make it happen. She's like, well, I'm not going to plan it till near the time, so it's going to be a very last minute trip. And I was like, okay, I'll make it work. Like, we'll make it happen. And she only messaged a couple of weeks ago, and she's like, right, we're going to be in Bordeaux, and we're going to do an e-bike tour, a vineyard. Do you want to come to that with her and her partner? And I was like, yes, I'm in. And she's like, you can invite Joe if you want. And I was like, I'm going to come myself. Just feel that passion of going away with your friend. I know our partner was there, but going away with your best friend, you only get to see her for like a couple of hours every other year. I was like, I just want to go myself, have some time myself, enjoy the traveling now. So again, just having that independence back of booking my flights, getting a bus here in Portugal, which I had no idea where I was going. It was like a wee adventure for myself. And then on the flight, and I could just work and have some me time, and then going to meet them. I spent a full day with them, but I also knew I had a full day in Bordeaux by myself. So it's not solo travel as such. I'm not booking a holiday and just going away by myself. And I think that's so amazing and it's so good to do, and not wait around for other people. But the way I'm doing it is just like adding it on at the end of the trip. So I have some time with friends and building that relationship and with family, but also having a wee bit of time myself as well. I feel like it's a perfect balance for me. So I really, really enjoyed a full day in Bordeaux, just like sightseeing and doing my own thing and going where I wanted to go. And it was just so nice, because sometimes if I'm with Joe, you'd be like, let's go back to the room, or let's go here. And I was like, nah, like I just sometimes just want to sit with a book and watch the world go by and eat an ice cream for hours. Like I could do that for ages, but some people want to go away and do things. But it's like, nah, I'm just going to sit here for a couple of hours. And then I had a boat tour booked. I was like, yeah, this is ideal for me. I had the best day. And the day before that as well, with my friend Joanna, we went on a vineyard tour across St. Million. And honestly, it was things dreams are made of. I wanted to do it for a long, long time since she said she was coming to France. I was like, I'm going to make it happen. And it was just so good to spend time with her, but not do it back in Scotland. We could actually experience a bit of Europe together as well. And I'm just at that stage right now, like we don't have kids yet, and moving here, and just at this age and the energy we've got, I'm just trying to do more things and just thinking a wee bit more like, yeah, fuck it. Like if I can make it happen financially, then let's do it and just live life a little bit more this year. And it's not to say that when you have kids or anything like that, life stops. You guys will know it's just got more responsibilities, don't you? And it's harder to plan and organize these trips. So I'm trying to really use this year as a time to like hopefully meet up with more friends, with family, do amazing experiences together, and just really enjoy this time while I have it, because I am aware that when we have kids it will be so much harder to do, and just really make the most of this year. And I've got some friends doing the same as well, so I just really wanted to share that with you guys. But like I said, you don't need to go away to Europe with your friends or go away on a holiday by yourself just to have that independency. I would do it like daily where I could, or through the week where I could. And again, it can be so much harder when you do have kids. But there's little moments in the day when you can get that quiet time, you can get that peace and knowing that it's going to be so good for you, but also to like get a wee bit of that independency back where you book something or you take in charge of something. And it really like we always say in this podcast, we want to build your confidence. We want you to feel independent and feel good. And sometimes that won't just come from changing your body. It's from like taking charge and doing things that do scare you a little bit and do make you feel a wee bit uncomfortable. So I want you to kind of think about planning a wee date for yourself and taking yourself away, do something really nice. And it could just be a spa day. Like sometimes you only do spa days when you get it as a gift, or when it's Mother's Day, or when it's a birthday or a hen do. It's like you could go for one right now and just book a little spa day for yourself on Sunday and just go yourself and just bring a book and just relax, have your Kindle, your book, or your phone, and just enjoy it. And when you do it, you realize there's so many other people doing it. But in your head, you think, oh my God, I'm going to be the only person at a spa by myself, or I'm going to be the only person at the cinema myself, at this restaurant myself. But actually, when you're with other people's company, you don't really notice what's going on around you. So you don't notice all these people that are solo traveling. And when I was sat about in Bordeaux, I could just see all these women and men just doing the same thing as me. They had their big rucksacks on and they were just chilling and sitting by themselves at a cafe with a book. And yeah, it was just so good to see that other people are doing it, but we just get stuck in our own ways and stuck in our comfort zone that we don't go out and do these things. So yeah, I think like you could book a wee spa day, you could book a little cinema trip, you could book a little really nice meal out at one of your favorite places. And it's even just little things every day. Like I know you maybe go to the gym yourself. I do think that's still great, but it's a little bit different. I want you to treat yourself to something nice that you're going to really enjoy and really get that independency back. And you need to book it and plan it in and do it for yourself. And you will feel a wee bit nervous, but I do think it's going to be so good for you and for your relationship. I've wrote down here some things for me, like although I love spending time with Joe, I feel like when we have time apart, so even for you with your family, like if you're going away on that spa day, yeah, you're going to feel guilt and you're going to feel bad, but actually having a bit of time away from your partner, like you definitely come home and you appreciate them so much more. So although when I'm going away with friends or family or by myself, I feel that sick feeling of leaving Joe and Lola, but I know when I'm away and I come home, I'm so much more refreshed and I appreciate their company so much more. The things that annoy me don't annoy me as much, and you need that distance away from the normality. It might even just be like work colleagues or people like that. You just need to get away a little bit, and a wee bit of space and time just through the week where you can be by yourself in your own company, and not have to think and work around other people. So I love it for that idea as well. Um, I also feel as well like when me and Joe have a bit of time with our own friends, we come back and we've got so much stories to tell, like to each other. Like there's so many we can chat about, so many more things rather than how was work today, how was the gym, like, or how was your sleep, like how's the what's the weather going to be like. Like you just have this boring chat that you have all the time, which is nice. But to go away with your own friends and have a great time and you make these memories, or you go away on that solo trip, or you go out for that dinner, you come back with all these things that you experienced or that you did that you can share together, which is really nice. So I love it for that as well. And I do think like again, you just get older and you do grow apart from your friends, and it is harder to catch up because they have children or they have a partner or they live across the world. And I just think again, it could be so easy to just not meet up and not spend time with friends because they're always there, they're around the corner, and you see what they're up to on Instagram. But that's sometimes the problem. Is like you see what people are doing on Instagram, but you don't actually ask how people are. Like, how are your friends? How is their work? How is their relationship? because what they put on Instagram isn't them all happy and living the best life. That's just a snippet. Actually sitting down with a friend and having a conversation, you find out there's so much other shit going on that you would not know if you're just looking at their Instagram stories. So yeah, meet up with a friend, and I think it's really healthy to maintain these relationships. I was actually on a flight to France once, to teen, and I sat beside this older man, and I'd say he was in his like late 60s, and I don't know why, but we were just chatting the whole flight. Like I would never walk past him and just start a conversation, but we just started chatting, and he'd been with his partner for a long time, like maybe 40, 50 years. And I don't know why the conversation came up, but he's just was telling me like why things have stayed so good for them is that they have their own lives outside the relationship. They don't just hang out with their partner, and they've got their own friends, and they've always made an effort to have their own friends rather than just rely on each other. So I always remember him telling me that it's like, yeah, I don't get to see my friends all the time, but I want to make an effort when I am, just like, how are you? What's happening? What are you up to? Even if it is just by message, or it is like, let's book that trip, or let's do that thing together, and try and spend time with my friends and maintain those relationships. And even with my sister, my mum, it can be so easy just to like when I was at uni, to be fair, I probably hardly spoke to my family. I was in that life, you're in your early 20s, but now when we're later on and your parents are getting older, I'm like, I just want to spend so much more time with them because I know how precious this time is. And also to experience trips like that with your mum, because we couldn't do that. We didn't have the finances when we were younger, and now you can go on a little Euro trip and you can like make it work for a weekend with your family and see things you would never have seen before and experience things. And I just think that's really special. So I love kind of having a wee bit of time away to like maintain other relationships as well, rather than just my partner. And like I've said over and over again, is like I get my independency back. I do rely on Joe for a lot of things that I just don't focus on. Same with him. Like for me leaving, he felt so grateful for me. Is like, I can't believe how much like you come in after the gym, you empty a dishwasher, you've got breakfast on, you've got our coffees on, you make our lunch, then you have our dinner ready, you even plan all the meals for the week. He's like, I was so lost without you. So like it does give him a bit of independence back, because we do just do our jobs, don't we? What is it? I think people call it like blue jobs and women jobs, pink jobs and blue jobs. I don't know, but you just do your own things because you're just getting by, and that's great because that works, and that's why like you are where you are now. But it's really good to break away now and again and spend some time by yourself or with your partner. And the last thing as well, just want to add to this, is like how you could just do this right now is like turn this podcast off, because right now I'm talking to you, I'm having a conversation with you, and it's think, things I need to do, things I need to do, adding to the list. Is like, just turn off your radio, turn off the podcast, and just walk in silence. It sounds super boring, but you need that. We don't get it now. The only time you can get complete silence, and this is why I'm loving my new bike, is that I can't go on my phone. I just need to cycle, and I can't listen to music because I need to listen to traffic. So like I'm just in my own head cycling, and it's so freeing. And another way I get this is like in the shower. You can't do anything in your shower apart from being with your own thoughts, and that's how we come up with solutions. That's how we get new ideas. That's how we really digest and take in information. That's how we prepare for meetings and stuff like that as well. And just noticing how much we are so stimulated all day, every day. The radio, our phones, adverts, people talking to us at work. It never ends. So just find those little moments in the car or out on a walk where you can just not listen to anything, and you will find it uncomfortable. You will find it hard, but knowing that you are going to benefit from it. And again, sorry, one more thing is like when I came back from Bordeaux, that time there, or when I come back from trips, or even just you guys in general, when you come back from a holiday, you always think, oh, I'm going to feel so much more energized after this holiday. But I came back and I was actually tired from all the traveling, that I've not actually really felt the benefits of that trip and that breakaway until a few days later. And it's like I've had that freedom, that space, that wind down, that me time, and I've started to feel the benefit of it a few days later. So just know, if you do have this wee breakaway, you might not notice instant relief from it, but maybe kind of doing it a wee bit more often, or noticing a couple of days later. It's like a massage. You always feel the benefit of it a few days later after you've kind of returned back into your basic normal routine. Okay, but I just wanted to fill that in with you. I just think it's a super important thing that we do just become really reliant on our partners, but also knowing that we're not getting any younger, and go and do these things that you've always wanted to do. Don't wait for someone to come and ask you. It's important to get some me time through the week where you can, to know that you're going to come back refreshed and fulfilled and more confident and more independent than just kind of going with everybody else's flow. Create your own flow, create your own little moments, and go out and enjoy them, because life is passing us by super quick. I hope you all have an amazing week, and I'll catch up with you all very soon.